In this episode of the Denoised podcast, we're going to recap the Oscars and talk about the big win for indie film.
Introducing Manus, another AI agent.
And we're going to talk about the updates to the Mac Studio. Let's get into it. Welcome. We're back.
We're back.
Even though we have been publishing episodes, but as we noted, we did pre-record them, and that's also why we weren't able to talk about the Oscars because they hadn't happened yet.
Such a bummer because I would have loved to talk about the Oscars right after, but here we are.
I know. Overall, the Oscar show itself, I felt like Conan was a great host. I really enjoyed watching him. I am someone who's like a mid Conan person, not like, there's a lot of people who are like, I'm diehard Conan fan.
Me.
Oh, you're a diehard Conan fan? I'm like not a diehard Conan fan, but I thought he did a great job hosting.
Okay.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean,
he was like having fun. And it was like nice to see him just having fun.
Loose.
Yeah. Tons of great dad, like cringy, funny dad jokes, but he somehow pulls them off.
What's the big joke? CinemaStreams?
CinemaStreams, yeah. So that's actually one of the takeaways too, where I felt like it was a unexpected big night for movie theater. CinemaStreams, his great sketch to...
what a good concept, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain the concept?
We play the movie. It was like a SNL fake commercial that was basically advertising as an ad, as if it was a new streaming service.
What if the cinema is in the box?
What if we taped 6,000 iPhones together into one big screen?
Love it. But
how do you play the movie? We play it for you.
See, only somebody like Conan could really deliver that with the seriousness and with the comedy.
Yeah, that was a big push for like, go back to movie theaters. But then also Sean Baker are probably the biggest winner of the night, four-time Academy Award winner. The only other person to do that since Walt Disney, which is crazy.
Really?
The single person to win 4 Academy Awards.
In a single night.
In a single night.
That's
last person
incredible.
Was Walt Disney. Yeah, Sean Baker, who won for Best Picture, Anora, Best Director, Best Screenwriter, Best Editor.
For a $6 million movie. Joey, we are living in the future, my friend.
Yeah, so let's talk about big night for indie film. So Anora won, pretty much swept for most of the awards. $6 million budget.
Yeah.
Shot on film, punched way above its weight, did a phenomenal job. It did recently come out, though. They did spend about $18 million promoting the film, or for the Oscar campaign and the marketing budget. But still, even after, I just saw now after the Oscar bump, I brought in, I don't know, another $6 or $7 million in theaters, just from the huge awareness of like this movie winning and everything. And then people being like, what is this movie?
I don't know if you remember when we did the pre-Oscar prediction episode, I did say Anora had the chance because it was pointing into the future of Hollywood, sort of smaller, nimbler budget, young filmmaker, a very distinct creative vision. But what I didn't say was 3 times the marketing budget.
Yeah, I mean, so it did have a big marketing budget, but you could argue that, I mean, they only put the money in there once they realized like it was gaining traction and that they had something there. Like, I don't know what point they decided to start pushing all the money into it.
I feel like it was a strategy from the get-go. It's just like, how do we flip the model upside on its head? I mean, the legacy way to do it would be to put all of it into production and then whatever remains into distribution, marketing, and whatnot.
Traditionally, I mean, even with bigger films, it's usually like, isn't it roughly like half is going to your production budget, half's going to your marketing budget?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, so 50-50, but not like 3 to...
Well, but I mean, also, the numbers are kind of warped because it's such a small budget to make this film. $6 million is pretty low. But yeah, I mean, the interesting thing that stood out too is, I mean, he did this for $6 million, but then I kind of forgot, but one of his earlier films was Tangerine, which came out in 2015, and that was notable because it was like the first kind of feature film that got distribution that was shot on the iPhone. I think it was the 5S.
He's no stranger to using cheap gear to make an amazing film. Yeah, and they made that
for $100,000. That was like a key case of just like a story that like no studio is really going to touch and pick up, and made this kind of really energetic, entertaining film with the iPhone. And I think that, to tie this into AI, I feel like that ties into, it's doable to do these low budget films, but they're contemporary, they take place on location. They, are contemporary stories. Taking the AI to the next thing, it's like, what if you could do these movies at the same budget, but then start doing genre films? Like, you never see genre films.
Yeah.
A sci-fi, a Western.
Right.
And I think that's
$6 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the next leap where it's like, okay, we can go beyond doing a contemporary film and start doing genre films at lower budgets.
I think that's right around the corner. If you think about it, if you don't replace the human performer, but just augment with VFX and AI, I don't see why it couldn't be possible with today's AI technology.
Yeah, or where it's going to be. If you started production today, where the AI is going to be by the time you finish in 6 months, 8 months from now, it's going to be way better anyway.
Just Pika additions, everything.
Yeah, just keep waiting for new stuff to drop. It's like, that solves the problem I was looking for.
Exactly.
Other huge winner, Flow, animated film, one for Latvia, and $3.7 million budget, all made in Blender. They thanked Blender in their speech.
Amazing. I love
it. The software mentioned in the thank you speeches. And yeah, another film example of relatively low budget. I mean, compared to Wild Robot and Inside Out 2, who were kind of the two favorites, but also, I don't know the budgets offhand, but over $100 million each.
Yeah, Wild Robot was, I think, under 100, 87 for production. But, you know, this happens so much. I remember working on DreamWorks and being upset every time an Oscar would get nabbed from the big two or big three by an independent maker. Like, out of all of the categories, I think animation stands to be the one that has the most reach into an independent filmmaker.
Yeah, because you could take a tool that is accessible like Blender and make something at that quality, at studio quality. And
do it with a small enough team. Because if you think about it, it's only 90 minutes of animated content. It is doable.
Yeah. And so, I mean, they did it. I don't remember. I mean, a small team. I don't remember how small it was, but $3.7 million budget.
I believe 20 people.
20. Yeah. So that's crazy small. It did take them about 5 years to make it, between script, funding, producing it.
Buying NVIDIA GPUs for rendering.
I mean, so they did also mention they use, are you familiar with EEVEE?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so can you explain what it is?
Yeah, EEVEE is a built-in renderer within Blender, and it gives you a pretty close to real time. It has a great denoiser on it. I think it's used a lot for 2D animation rather than 3D animation because it has stylized looks and stuff to it. They achieved the look that they wanted without spending anything really on the tools.
I think they're running this on their own computers. It wasn't like that a massive server farm like Pixar does.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, that's also just to show the power of the tool and the power of like how far the hardware has come too.
Yeah. And this, to me, this is like the Blair Witch Project moment a little bit, where a small team with very limited budget, very limited resource can just come in and just compete with the big guys.
Good story, good artistry.
That's it.
Yeah. To expand upon this for the AI future, it did take them 5 years. It took them $4 million. I mean, I see this as, I remember I've seen some tweets where it's like, look, we don't need AI. We could do this. And it's like, no, you could do this with the same talent, the same creative people behind it, but for $1 million and in a year or two. And cut down the budget, cut down the time, do it faster, do it for less money, but not take away anything from the artistry or the creativity that goes into making this film.
AI has the biggest potential to impact feature animation more than any other genre.
Yeah, and we're probably see that is the first one to
The only thing holding back, I think, the Oscars next year is the AI clauses and all of the
if they have to disclose, right? And we're still not even sure what if they have to disclose, if that disqualifies you or not, or just you have to disclose it and for people to be aware and what that even means.
Yeah,
so that's still up in the air.
So does it mean if you tell the Academy that you used AI in your project, are you still qualified at that point? And they just put a little asterisk on your project?
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. So just info for like the voting members to be aware of. And speaking of AI and one of our earlier talks, The Brutalist and Adrian Brody and Reese Beecher, he did win for Best Actor. So
such a well-deserved win.
Reese Beecher. Yeah. I mean, it was great.
Regardless of what you thought about Act 3, the performance throughout the film was just top-notch by Adrian Brody.
Yeah. For someone who could hold my attention for 3 hours, I think that you deserve the Academy Award. And the Reese Beecher thing never took away from any of that. I mean,
he's so convincing at being Laszlo. Like, it didn't feel like an actor was portraying Laszlo. It felt like that really is this guy from the 1960s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so crazy to me too, because it's like if they went the traditional route and brought in a voice actor to read the letter in Hungarian, no one would bat an eye. I'd be like, yeah, that's a part of the movie process.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, well, they took it a step further and used his actual voice and performance and used a tool to help carve it, but keep his original voice and performance, which seems more authentic than if you were to ADR this with another actor. Yeah. And no one would I
agree.
Bat an eye at that. So, worthy performance. Maybe not the greatest acceptance speech.
Oh, I did not see that.
Did you not see anything about it?
No.
He took the record for the longest acceptance speech ever.
Even with the music playing off?
He had the power to have them stop playing.
Oh, I mean, he's no stranger to memorable acceptance speeches.
It was memorable, but not for the...
Remember the Halle Berry one?
What did she say?
No, when he...
when he won the first time?
Yeah,
I don't remember
the pianist, and I think Halle Berry was presenting, and he made out with her on stage.
No, you don't remember that?
Yeah.
No, he had this rambling speech, but it didn't really say anything, and it was just kind of a list off of people. And then he got more time, and then it was you didn't really know what to do with the extra time that he got.
Oh.
So yeah, somehow broke the award for longest speech and was also not the the most memorable, but for the wrong reasons. But yeah, I'm still happy he won Best Actor. I thought that was deserved.
Yeah, well deserved.
Yeah, unexpected theme, which we talked about before, Save the Movie Theater, CinemaStreams, but then also Sean Baker in his third acceptance speech when he won his third award, which I also appreciated that he had a third speech prepared, and it was more of a plea for like, go to the movies, like go see movies in movie theaters.
Great.
So I'm glad he took advantage of winning the awards to like, I already thanked everyone. Now let me like use this platform to like push additional things.
Yeah, I think that needed to be said.
Yeah. And I've been trying to go back to the movie theaters more often. Okay, we did make some predictions on a few categories, and so let's tally it up. So our first prediction, we had Best Visual Effects. You predicted Dune Part 2. I said Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. Dune Part 2 won. Congratulations.
Oh, yay.
Best Cinematography, we both predicted Dune Part 2. The Brutalist won.
No worries. Greg Fraser will win sooner or later.
Yeah, but also not when I'm not upset. Like The Brutalist equally. Like they're all great films. Yeah. Equally deserving.
I remember what I said.
Looks amazing.
The reason Dune won or would have won is because it's such a trend-setting VFX movie. Mm-hmm. Like all the other VFX movies want to replicate the Dune look because of the way they just made VFX disappear.
And then Best Picture, I picked Anora, you picked The Brutalist, and Anora won.
Of course.
Yes. So tie. 1-1. We have a tie. So
yeah, we should have predicted on the two other categories, obviously feature animated film, and then Best International Feature. That's also a really exciting category for me.
Animated feature, I would have picked Wild Robot.
Yeah, it felt like that was going to be.
I love that film.
I know.
Yeah, but I also have not seen Flow, and I want to see Flow now.
Same.
I don't think I saw any of the
best international
the foreign films. Did you see any of them?
No, I'm wondering who won.
So yeah, the best foreign language film that won was I'm Still Here. It was also nominated for Best Picture too, but it was the best international feature film.
Oh, Flow was nominated for international feature as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And Girl with the Needle, Emilia Perez. So Zoe Saldana won for Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah, it was a good show. I mean, it was a bit of a weird year. There wasn't like a huge front runner, like, and big budget runaway film like Oppenheimer last year. But I feel like, big night for indie film and indicator of a trend of like, you could do a lot with a small film.
Also, somebody pointed out on X that this is the first year where he had the most number of independently financed features. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
Yeah, 6 major above the line categories. So, well, I mean, it does like help that half of them are from Anora and Sean Baker. Director, best film, best actor. I don't remember the actor and supporting actors offhand. Oh yeah, I mean, Kieran Culkin.
Yes, for that one movie in Poland.
Yeah, with Jesse Eisenberg that he directed.
Yes.
All of those won international feature, documentary feature, and animated feature, all independent.
I mean, if this isn't writing on the wall, I don't know what is, right? Like the current Hollywood model is just not working.
Yeah, and also not making the films that are getting nominated for Best Picture.
Because they're too busy making sequels.
Marvel films, Star Wars films. Yeah, the money's going there.
Did you see there was some buzz going around about Michael Bay where he came out and said,
you can't get funding anymore.
You can't get anything greenlit anymore.
Yeah.
You combine that sentiment with the fact that so many independent films are winning Oscars and not the established studios. Like, clearly there is a big need for a reset on how films get greenlit and funded in the first place.
Yeah, and you have these smaller studios like Neon or A24 that are putting these original things out there and doing it for a smaller budget. It's like we're lacking the Miramax, the Focus Features, the Sony classics that sort of dominated this,
this
10, 20 years ago. This sphere of like... I mean, these are relatively low budget films, but like we don't really have those like $20 to $50 million budget films that, are still way less than a Marvel film, but could break out into
I think numbers. Keith Sam said it the best when he was on the podcast. He said something about the middle is completely hollowed out. Mm-hmm. So you have movies that are under 10 million that are completely funded by, self-financed or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you don't even have a 10 to 90 million market anymore. It's just 100 million plus.
Right.
So
and that's gotta be some established IP or something.
Exactly.
Like they're not taking chances on
and
that.
He said it the best. He was like, at that price range, it's vote by committee. Everything is vote by committee. And when you make a film that's supposed to be a very distinct piece of art with a very distinct voice, texture, feel, you can't vote by committee to make that film. It just has to be made by somebody who has the vision.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to see $100 million plus movies that are artistic, that are different, because it's
unless, I mean, there's only two people that come to mind who could command that budget and full control: Christopher Nolan,
Jon Favreau, maybe
Jon Favreau,
Yeah.
and James Cameron.
Yeah, they're almost grandfathered in a little bit because the studios are just like, okay, give them the money and then just let them
And
free
probably
reign.
Spielberg, he could still probably do
course.
whatever he wants.
But for the rest of the ecosystem at that price range,
Yeah.
it's kind of, it needs a recalibration.
Or AI.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want to keep bringing it back to it, but I feel like this is like the first step of the indicator of like, okay, well, if the budget's, if like, in order to get $100 million plus budget, even if you're Michael Bay and you can't get a budget like that,
yeah.
the alternative is like, okay, well, how can we do the crazy cool stuff that we're used to doing, but do it for less?
Breathe on this a little bit. You've been bringing this up as we were talking about the Oscars. What is your opinion on the future of filmmaking and AI and low budget? Tie those three things together.
Making genre films, or just making kind of more visually interesting films that would be cost prohibitive at the whatever $500,000 to $5 million range.
And do you think that the AI technology of today is already there?
It's getting there. I think if you're trying to do something that's straight up animated or like go lean into animation, I think you could definitely pull off something like that today.
Like a flow.
And combining a flow, right?
Wild
And I'm
robot.
not saying, and again, this goes back to my whole thing where it's like we need to have better language around AI. I'm not saying like, let me go type into a Sora prompt and spit out a film. I'm saying
I don't think it's there.
Use artistry to create, like we were talking about before, the in-betweeners, like make the like characters, make the shots, use like a combo of traditional like artists who are driving this, but doing it for less.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of Promise Studios, like somebody like that understands how to build a pipeline, stringing a bunch of AI tools together to get to the end result. But it's not text to image, text to video into an Oscar submission.
Yeah, one of the more Promise we've talked about, another one that we'll talk about in the future, but Staircase Studios came out with an article or an announcement where they're acquiring a bunch of scripts, optioning scripts, kind of going, it's a studio, AI-focused studio, but founded by traditional Hollywood executives.
Oh, cool.
And going like sticking with the unions, like optioning scripts based on like WGA rates,
That's
hiring SAG actors for voices, I believe, but producing these films for like $500,000, $500,000, and trying to just take films that no one else was picking up.
Right.
And that were too cost prohibitive to do traditionally.
Yeah.
And they're saying that like a proprietary AI pipeline.
I mean, there's no shortage of good ideas and good scripts out there.
And it's just hard, like, especially if it was a genre script or it has like VFX or it's not like like something that you could shoot on a beach or in a room or in a building.
It's all the stuff
it's harder to do.
The development teams at Netflix, Amazon, Disney, wherever, have sat on for years, and is just piles of scripts that are just not feasible with a traditional pipeline.
Yeah, and that's also why there's the whole blacklist thing that exists, the system of scripts that people are like, this is a great script, but like no one picked it up and produced it. And
there's no way I can make this for $10 million.
Top unproduced scripts. Yeah,
right. Oh, yeah, amazing. So maybe we should do a spotlight on Staircase.
Yeah, so I think we'll talk about it in the future too.
Awesome.
But I think that seeing stuff like that pop up recently, and then seeing what happened in the Academy Awards, I'm like, it just feels like, okay, this is like step one, step two. Like this is like where things are going. Smaller budgets and being able to pull off more with AI and still keep people and artisans in the pipeline. It's just a different workflow and a different tool set. Okay, next story. Another new AI startup that has been kind of blowing up the web a bit. Manus, another company from a Chinese startup called Monica. They're calling it the first general AI agent. And this is continuing the trend of agentic AI that kind of kicked off the year with the NVIDIA keynote.
Is it going to take over my computer and just do things for me?
Not there yet. So basically, it looks like a very good turbocharged version of things we've talked about in the past, like ChatGPT Operator, ChatGPT Deep Research. Still currently looks like it is a sandbox version where you give it a prompt of like the thing you want it to do, but it apparently does it way better. Like it'll go across the web. It's still a sandbox version of like, it's not controlling your computer. It's in a sandbox computer on the web.
Got it.
But as far as doing, like I've seen examples of, I've seen a lot of programming and gaming examples, but I've seen other examples of Bilawal posted a good video breaking out some things he tried out where it was like, I needed to find a good spot of like drone operating locations in Austin. Mm-hmm. And it like, first it builds out a checklist of what it needs to do. And then it starts running through the checklist.
Wow.
And it's like looking at maps, looking at FAA, like flight charts,
like the zones.
Like what's cleared.
Yeah.
Like going to Google Maps and looking up like visuals and just doing a bunch of tasks, but way better than ChatGPT Operator
Way better
is
than
doing.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, apparently it's been way better than ChatGPT Operator.
That's
People have
amazing.
said it looks like, so we also, this came up recently too, but ChatGPT announced that they might be launching a $20,000 a month membership.
Wait. The whole point of AI is to save money.
I mean, if you're paying someone $100,000 a month for whatever this thing can do, and it's $20,000, I don't know. I guess maybe that's how they do the math. Yeah, that part was a little fuzzy. It seems like it was geared very much towards like high-end research or medical research or so whatever this agent was that they were going to launch. But people are saying, "Oh, Manus is basically that," but there's no pricing yet. But not $20,000.
But it's kind of like the Hypebeast AI model, right? Tell me a little bit about the wait list and what's going on.
So right now it is like you have to have an access code. It's like early beta. And apparently some people are reselling. There's such a demand for it that people are reselling their codes for thousands of dollars.
That's like rare Jordans.
Yes.
I'm in. Anything with scarcity that really just like.
What if you like join the wait list and then you don't get in, and then you like pay $1,000 for someone's code, and then the next day you get the invite code from them, like, "Oh, hey, we're giving you access now," and you're like, I just spent $1,000 for nothing.
I feel like the people who are spending money on the access codes have disposable income.
I think they do. Yeah, if you're a very early adopter who's gonna throw a bunch of money at this, yeah, it feels like another big. Leap of
their website's really well thought out.
A lot of things coming together.
Yeah.
And doing like another big step of like, oh, this is like doing kind of crazy useful stuff.
Yeah.
With minimal input.
The AI companies know that people want substance and people want value, and the hype cycle is only going to give them so much momentum. So this is a good indication as to the near future of how AI will impact a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, and I think it's going to get wild once this stuff can start just doing things on your computer, like when it can control Resolve or Photoshop or actually do things in the tools that we use and be like, "Oh, hey, go tag these clips or go make a string out."
Moment of truth will be, somebody like you or me who hire freelancers on Fiverr or Upwork time to time. Mm-hmm. Can we do a couple of things with Manus that maybe a Fiverr talent would be able to do? And if it's a little bit less money, can we have 5 or 6 Manus accounts, and are we more productive?
Yeah, possibly. It also depends on the task. I mean, I've done things where it's like, oh, I need to like kind of scrape a bunch of data that I'm not like a data scraper. And it's like, like get something on Fiverr. But I think AI, that'll be like one of the first things where you can just tell an AI agent like, "Oh, go to this website and like create a database, with all of this data that I need from here for research." And it'll go off and do that.
Yeah. And to me, like a lot of the use cases, they feel like very much number crunching, data crunching, kind of like deep research territory. Mm-hmm. But there is nothing that is creative driven. So I'll give an example. When we made the show and we were going back and forth on the title screen and the title animation stuff.
Yeah.
Like we knew what we wanted and we could list it out, but there is no such agent that can take the helm and give us 10 or 15 different versions of it.
No, like a video animation kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not there yet.
So I think for now, a lot of creative industries can kind of just breathe a little bit because nobody's coming for those jobs.
No, and it's like, I mean, as we talked about before, I think in a lot of cases, it's like good enough for some people. Like, yes, there are ways where you could maybe go to a store or something and be like, "Oh, give me an animated tile that says Denoised," and it'll probably give you something. Yes. And for a handful of people, that would probably be like, good enough.
Yeah, not us.
Not good enough for us, but yeah. Or the in-betweener exercise that we kind of talked about too, where it's like, well, if you have a graphic designer, but they're not an animator, but they can design, start first frame, last frame.
Yeah.
And then we, use AI to animate that.
Yep. What was the solution you sent me the other day that has the first frame, last frame?
Which one? That was another Pika update. Okay. We didn't cover that Pika update because I think it came out literally after we published the episode, but they've been on a roll, but they published another update that was their version of you can give it first frame, last frame, which that's not new. I mean, Kling, Runway, a bunch of these video generator tools have that where you give it an image of the first frame, image of the last frame, and it makes the video. Yeah. And the demos that I saw looked pretty good, especially if you were like trying to do some cool kind of, like if your first frame and last frame are completely different and you're trying to do some kind of cool like transition effect, their outputs looked really cool. So I wanted to mess around with it a bit.
Yeah, it feels like it's ready for all the hip hop music videos.
I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that. Yeah, all the music videos.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Manus, I'm curious to see more of just where this goes, and once it can start doing computer stuff. But I'm also curious about the pricing because I remember when I messed around with Claude computer control, which you could only run through their API, it was expensive. It was like $1 or $2 like a minute running on the computer. So I don't know what
because it's like a AWS or whatever hosted computer, a VM. I mean, that in itself is expensive.
Process. Yeah, I mean, because in that case, I think it's like, it's taking a screenshot of the computer screen and like figuring out what it's looking at and then controlling,
it's probably 10 computers, 10 VMs running underneath with one computer being the one you access. Like it probably is very compute intensive.
I mean, maybe that's why they haven't rolled it out prime time. I mean, this stuff's only going to get cheaper, and eventually just run it on your own computer.
Going back to what you said, this is a Chinese manufacturer.
Yes, a Chinese company. So yeah, I've seen people compare this to another kind of DeepSeek moment.
Sure.
I don't know if it's as big as DeepSeek, but it's another Chinese company that built like one of the most useful looking general AI agents that can access a bunch of different tools.
I think the DeepSeek moment will come when they launch the price and we compare that to OpenAI.
Yeah. And then also see, does OpenAI's $20,000 a month plan suddenly drop down to, we're going to give it to you with Pro. And like, because there's such this like competition going on between all the different companies of what they're offering. And one is like, we're going to offer this super top level thing. The other one's like, we'll give it to you for free. And then the other one's like, well, we'll drastically drop our price then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand how well tied these Chinese companies are to the state. A lot of things in China happen to have very deep ties into the government, and they get funding in all types of ways that is not quote unquote funding. And they don't really have a prerogative to make any money in a lot of cases.
Right. Just like get the adoption out there and get
the adoption, land grab, do it before the Americans. So there is some geopolitical stuff happening under the hood, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. But yeah, I mean, as you saw the website, very slick, much more user friendly if you can get access to it than like a DeepSeek where you had to kind of be a bit more technically minded to like launch the model yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. And then also speaking of computers and things that can run,
you got a hardware update for me?
Got a hardware update.
Yes.
So Apple announced new updates to the Mac Studio, which I believe it hasn't really been updated since they introduced it in 2022. So now they've got new versions that will run the M4 Max chip and the M3 Ultra chip, which actually the M3 Ultra, I believe, is more powerful than the M4 Max.
Oh, wow.
Even though the numbers are counterintuitive.
I think it's like not a low power version. Like the M3, M4s generally go into Max and they are designed to run on batteries.
For these
exactly.
These bad boys right here.
Yeah, so from a form factor wise, it looks like a chunky, taller brother of the Mac Mini. So still kind of small, kind of manageable.
Oh, the Studio?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Studios are great.
Yeah.
Everything that I could tell from the outside of the Studio is the same. It's beefier chips, and then you could max it out with up to 512 gigabytes of unified memory.
That's insane.
Which bumps the price up to $14,000. The starting price is $2,000 for an M4 Max model with the base specs. You can max it out to $14,000.
It wasn't from aesthetic and design standpoint, it doesn't have the skateboard wheels and the cheese grater, none of that.
No. This is not new.
It's not new.
Have you seen the Mac Studio before?
Yeah, like a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah. The body, it looks like they stretched out a Mac Mini.
Yeah, I think that they could have made it a little bit more unique in design.
Oh, the design?
Yeah.
I mean, it's designed to be a desktop kind of
appliance
box
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you run with these?
I've not used them, no.
Okay. You're a Windows guy?
No. MacBook.
You're a Mac all the way.
I tried to max this MacBook out for that. Yeah, if I was going to get something else now, I mean, we're not doing most of the stuff. It's like editing and doesn't need that much heavy processing. So I mean, I would get the new Mac Mini.
Although the Mac Silicons do run editing stuff really well, right?
The M chips have been way better than any of the Intel versions.
Right.
Like it all just runs smoother.
My only caveat here is that we are in a world where a lot of localized AI stuff is happening, and without CUDA, without NVIDIA, how do you take advantage of any of it?
So I'd be curious, will these pair with the Digit boxes, the NVIDIA computers that are coming out, I don't know, May, June, whenever they didn't really announce a date, but that they talked about it at
I have not seen any Apple NVIDIA partnerships on the horizon, so I don't think so.
No, now if you had the tower, you could put an NVIDIA chip in it, right? Well, but the architecture built to like actually take advantage of it, or are you still kind of like, you really should get a PC if you're going the NVIDIA route?
Yeah, I think the 99% of the researchers and people that are actually developing AI are on Windows boxes with the NVIDIA GPUs. Yeah. So it's not that, right? This is a consumer-facing product that's meant to be super ultra packaged, easy to use. You don't have to think about the hardware and so on.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it depends what you're doing. Like we're doing just like editing, not doing a bunch of heavy process, like graphics.
Yeah.
These things are great for that.
The other day, I just put my Comfy UI workflow together to run WAN 2.1 locally.
Yeah. Yeah. The Chinese video model.
Yeah, the Chinese video model. And I have a couple of generation older RTX 3090, I believe. And you can get a video done in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Not bad.
No, I have a souped up Dell that I'm borrowing, and it has a NVIDIA card.
Okay.
Don't remember the specifics, but it's a beefy NVIDIA card, and Resolve does have some nice features where it will, if you have an NVIDIA card, you can change options, and it will specifically take advantage of the card to run some of its neural engine stuff, and also for rendering. And so we did have a project that had a lot of like fusion graphics and stuff. Yeah. And on our computers, it was, when we were trying to export, it was saying like 12 hours. And then we put it on this computer and turned on the NVIDIA processing, and 60 seconds.
No way.
It just like cranked through it. So that was like, oh man, wow. This NVIDIA card is awesome.
Yeah.
And everyone who uses them forever is probably like looking at my story and being like, you're an idiot. Like, of course these cards are so good. That's why we all use them.
That's why the world is running on them.
Yeah. That's why they're a $3 trillion company.
Yeah.
But yeah, good to see the update on this, on the studio. Yeah. I mean, also, I'm curious to see what's going to come out next. So they've had a new MacBook Air update. Mm-hmm. So like they're even like thinner, more powerful. Like these things are crazy thin. But these are the kind of updates where like they didn't even bother with a keynote or a presentation for these. These are like, they posted these updates on like as press releases and like as like on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see like what's coming next.
Yeah. I mean, you got to realize like
if it's the developer conference or something before that.
Yeah. Apple is up against Dell, HP, Lenovo, and all these like really well suited, very capable hardware manufacturers. They got to up their game year by year, quarter by quarter. They cannot sleep on hardware. No,
but I think their game is good. I mean, I don't know. People are like, oh, there should have been more updates, but it's like, I don't know what, like the Mac Mini got even smaller. It's $600 for the base model. That thing, you could pretty much run most use cases on that, unless you're doing like crazy high end stuff. But phenomenal little mini computer for the tiny box it's in. The Air now is like, I think it's as thin as like our monitors right here, the entire computer.
Yeah.
And super powerful, crazy battery life, like crazy thin.
Crazy.
How much
better can it get? And it keeps getting better.
Right. What else can you do with these things? Like, I mean, that's the problem. It's like, yes, the leaps to do better things. It's like, what else is there?
Also, you think about silicon technology and how much time and effort it takes and how much money it takes to develop a new chip year after year. They go from the M2, M4. Mm-hmm. You're looking at 18-month, 2-year cycles that they somehow figure out in 6 months. And they manufacture brand new wafers.
Yeah.
That's insane.
The thing they have been struggling on, though, and we probably talk about this in the future, is their AI and their Apple Intelligence, and that got delayed.
We touched on this a little bit.
Yeah, and they just announced that they were delaying it and the full release until either next year or 2027.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we talk about that more in the future. But
I mean, they kind of suckered me into buying the iPhone 16 Pro.
For the AI features that never came.
Apple Intelligence. Yeah. And when I got it, it didn't have it loaded. And then I think 3 or 4 months later, it was a feature to waitlist on. And then I finally have it. And man, I can't seem to get any good usage out of it.
The thing that summarizes my messages, but like...
Yeah.
Is not
a good summary
at all.
Yeah. And then we talked about the Memoji generation.
Also not useful.
Yeah.
I saw one good theory that they're trying to get it to the point where like it could run the AI locally on the phone, and that the processors need to get up to speed with that.
Yeah.
And that does sound plausible because it's like Apple is traditionally not really first to anything, but when they do come up, they want to be the best. They want to be the best.
Yeah. I mean, I could see something like Manus being run on an iPhone.
Or something like that.
And just like it takes over your phone, it does things for you until you
and it runs locally, because that's also like nothing is doing that now. It's like, anytime you talk to Siri or whatever, or any of the AI agents, it's like, it's got to go to the server, you got to figure out what you're saying and come back with the command.
Yeah.
But once it's at the point where you can have like real time talking to it,
Yeah,
it's
like
processing on the phone.
let's
It's going to
say-
be pretty seamless. That's probably what they're aiming for.
You put your phone on do not disturb all the time, right? So do I. And what if the agent can text people for you and say, hey, Joey is not available right now, but leave a message, just like a nice friendly text.
Let me blow your mind. You could do this right now.
Oh,
If you have a do not disturb profile on, there's an option you can set up to, if someone texts you, to automatically reply like blah, 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 is like unavailable.
So maybe Apple is so feature rich. That's why they're struggling with nice AI feature.
I mean, Siri's not that great. So the bar to make Siri better is
Very low.
pretty low.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And same thing with Alexa and a lot of these built-in.
Alexa's rolling Claude into there. They're
Oh, no shit.
to an Alexa Plus. They're integrating Claude,
That's amazing.
which that should be pretty good. So I'm curious to talk about that.
So Apple had the partnership with OpenAI.
I don't know. I mean, that was what they announced, right? But I
Yeah.
don't think it ever, I think unless you downloaded the beta, I don't think they ever fully rolled out OpenAI integration into Siri. That was what they were like talking about. But I don't think that,
they're not building
happened.
it from scratch. They're just licensing other people's stuff. It seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, that, as we know of right now, I mean, I would not
Yeah.
be surprised if they are also training something right now.
They do have trillions of dollars.
Yeah. In their little spaceship.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, it seems like a good wrapping up point. And we went on a couple tangents of things we should talk about in the future. So there's never a shortage of interesting, fascinating topics to talk about. And
We just
unravel.
needed to catch up. And we have
I
a
know
lot of
we've been
good.
posting the episodes, but we haven't seen each other in a week. So
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
catching up to do.
Yeah. So for the next time, we'll cover Staircase Studios. We'll do a film episode. I think that one could be a lot of
I
fun.
think this would be good. Extreme polar. Let's talk about the AI movie studio and celluloid.
Coming together.
The polar opposites.
You could scan film, put it through an AI pipeline, print it back on film. Come on.
Let's talk to Runway about. Hey, do you want a film print of your outputs?
Yeah.
Links and everything we talk about, denoisedpodcast.com.
Thank you for your support. I've been getting some more reviews on Spotify, so really appreciate it. I'm getting a lot of DMs about how much people are enjoying the podcast. We hear you and we love it. So please keep the love coming.
And DMs are nice. But what's even nicer and more useful to the podcast if you leave these nice comments publicly on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because reviews are the number one way to grow this podcast and for more people to discover it. So we appreciate the direct message love, but put the direct message love into a nice comment.
Please engage with our content out there. That really helps
Feed the algorithm. Feed the algorithm. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next episode.